Welcome to another episode of Peralta Matters. I am your host, Jay Calhoun. Today's episode, we'll be talking to the Inspire Oakland winners from Laney College. So, sit back, relax, and let's get into what matters here at Peralta.
I'm Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Join me in watching Peralta TV.
Now that I'm retired, I should turn this yard into a garden. Wish I knew how. Oh, you're not a gardener, dressed like that.
Nah, buddy, I'm the Peralta College's genie, and the key to success is classes at one of the 4 East Bay Peralta colleges. They got weekend courses, even landscaping.
Thanks, Peralta College's genie. Got any more good advice?
Yeah, recycle.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Daniela Nikolaeva. Daniela, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Outstanding.
I'm glad to be here.
Let's talk about what you do at Laney College.
I teach people how to make unicorns. That's what I do.
I like it.
I teach a Photoshop class, and we do collages, we do image manipulations, and I teach also other graphic arts classes, Illustrator, graphic design technologies, and so on, different classes.
I need some Illustrator notes. I'll be by your office later after the show.
Oh, good. Yeah, I have some students who can definitely help you with that.
Good. Tell us a little bit about your trajectory to Laney. We heard you have a nice background story about how you got here.
Well, I like Laney. I've been at Peralta Colleges for 13 years, and initially I started at Berkeley City College.
Formerly Vista.
Formerly Vista.
Correct.
Actually, I remember my office was under the discount store, under the lingerie department. That's where my classroom was.
Outstanding.
Before we have this beautiful campus now, Berkeley City College. So then I taught multimedia classes there.
Outstanding.
And classes related to animation, web design, and then my background is in graphic design, so I started teaching graphic design classes here at Laney, and I loved it. When I came here, I really liked the campus. I mean, it is a real campus, right?
Yes.
We have a football team, we have a swimming pool, we have gym, library, really beautiful place.
Do you feel like the surroundings help you grab inspiration for some of the art that you have to produce?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I like the location, but what mostly inspires me here are the people. That's the real asset.
Right.
What we have here, they're great.
So we have some students that won some awards from your class. Can we attribute their award winning to what you taught them?
A little bit. I teach them the skill, but the inspiration comes from them. Right? They come up with the idea, they do the hard work, they do the revisions, and of course I guide them through the process and I help them with everything I can. But all the credit goes to them because they're the one who created these award-winning designs.
What would you think they would say to me about how you run your class?
Well, they will tell you that there is a structure, but there is also a lot of room for exploration.
Okay.
So I teach them the skills, I give them the most important components, and then they take this and they take it to another level.
Right. I heard that. What do you feel is your style of teaching? How would you say that you really get the best out of your students?
Very visual. I'm a visual artist. I'm a graphic designer, so I like to teach things visually. So I show them a lot of examples. I demonstrate. I don't just tell them. I don't give them a book and say, okay, read the book and you'll learn everything from the book. No, I give them hands-on assignments where they can try their best, find answers to their own questions, and learn by doing, not by listening.
Right. Is there a huge difference in multimedia versus graphic art teaching?
That's a very, very good question. They are both visual arts.
Correct.
But the multimedia arts have to do with timeline, animation, video editing, sound,
Gotcha.
and that is an extra added difficulty.
Okay.
But both are very challenging. Both fields require a lot of good understanding of hardware and software. So there are definitely a lot of overlap in between multimedia and graphic arts, and also a lot of graphic artists move on to creating multimedia pieces. They are well-known names, such as Saul Bass, who started as a graphic designer, and then they created the movie titles. So
good point.
it's not one thing only, it's all inclusive.
There are clearly a lot of opportunities creatively in the Bay Area. Pixar, a bunch of other companies. Does that help inspire students to continue and further and complete this program?
Yes, we live in a really, really great region. It's great to be here and to be able to go on field trip and see things, to go to museums and see designs created by local artists. Absolutely, that's very inspirational, and it's very conducive to creating great designs, creating great visual works. Absolutely, I agree with that.
So what's the future for Professor Nikolaeva's class for graphic design? What do you see the 2000 and beyond graphic designers doing?
Just more and more and better. Hopefully we'll have our classes, we'll develop new classes, and I want to develop new programs in our department because I believe there is a lot more we can add to our additional, to our existing classes. I see more programs, more classes, more great students, more talent, and more awards and more billboard designs posted around Oakland. So definitely I think it's just amazing to think ahead and to see how bright our future is.
What do you think is and real quickly, is the biggest adjustment from, say, a beginner coming into the class to finishing a billboard by the end of the class?
Well, at the beginning, the software is the challenge, learning the tools.
Gotcha.
But yesterday I was talking with my students, and they told me at the final presentation, they told me, we thought we'll be just learning Illustrator, just how to use the pen tool, just how to use the text tool. But there was a lot about design. So they said, you taught us a lot about composition and color and arrangement. And I told them, well, I don't teach people how to operate a hammer. I teach them how to build a house. Because you can learn how to work with a hammer. Everybody can teach you that. It's not that difficult, but it doesn't mean that you can build a house. So it's everything, starting knowing the tools, learning the techniques, and then coming with the idea, the concepts, and putting it all together so you can have a coherent piece at the end, a portfolio piece, and something that, in our case, will be posted around Oakland, and millions of people will see.
Good job. Thank you again, Daniela,
Thank
for your
you very
work.
much.
All right. We'll be right back with more Peralta Matters.
What would you tell someone who was thinking about going to college?
Once you get in, you get sucked into it. It cultivates those things in you that you never thought were there or that could be cultivated. The rewards are well worth it. Just go.
For more information, visit peralta.edu. Like your future at the Peralta Colleges.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Laney College student Cynthia Flores. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Right on. Let's talk first about where you're from.
I'm from Tijuana, and well, by border, I'm Tijuana, San Diego. Common experience down there.
Outstanding. What got you to Northern California?
I went to UC Santa Cruz. I graduated, and then I decided to just keep moving up.
Keep moving up?
Instead of back down.
Right
yeah.
on. So let's get to the big elephant in the room, this wonderful Inspire Oakland Award you won through your graphic arts class. Talk about how that happened.
So this is my first semester at Laney. I was taking Daniela's Photoshop class, and one of the assignments she gave us as an option was to design a billboard, which was daunting.
True.
This being my first semester, but I decided to go for it anyways, and it turned out wonderfully. I won, so.
I mean, and as a first semester, first time student, what does that do for you? How does that set you up for the future? What do you feel like that puts you on the platform to do?
I mean, I think my first semester went really well. I think that the way that Daniela teaches, or the classes I've taken so far, have been pretty inspiring in terms of my opportunities for the future. So
let's talk about what inspired you to submit what you submitted first, and then tell us what you submitted.
What inspired me to submit that? Well, the prompt was to submit something that what inspires you about Oakland was basically the prompt. So I had to think of that, and I think a lot of people think of beautiful parts of Oakland, like the lake or the pier, what have you. So now I'll tell you what I submitted.
Thank you.
I submitted a design with the most inspiring women I could think of that have done work in Oakland or reside in Oakland. Those being Kathleen Cleaver, Angela Davis, and the Radical Monarchs.
Right on. What do you think is the reception, or what will you think the reception will be to your billboard once it goes up all over Oakland?
Pride. I hope. Yes. I don't think that a lot of people here currently maybe have exposure to some of those figures, but the people that do are very proud of that. So I think it'll be.
Historically speaking, it's always been met with resistance. That's why I asked, how do you think the response is going to be? Because, we are 50 years removed. This is the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party. But we're also having a little resurgence into this social commentary. And by purposely or, indirectly, you have made a grand statement, with your Inspire Oakland that I think will resonate to a lot more people than probably you even imagined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a worthy pat on your back. Talk a little bit about Daniela's class. How, one, she teaches it, and two, what you gain from it.
I think the first thing I think of is she is very hands-on in some ways and hands-off as well. So hands-on in the sense that she gives us demos, she makes us do things along with her, and she makes sure we're doing it along with her. And then hands-off in the sense that she kind of gives us creative freedom. She'll give us a prompt using the tools she's given us that week that we've had practice with, and then we have to really show her that we can both use those tools and then that we can come up with something original and creative and fun. So those are two aspects that I relate to her class that have been very useful for me. Right.
Do you see yourself continuing on to further things? Am I going to see Cynthia Flores in the archives of art history? I
hope so. I do see myself continuing.
Outstanding. Well, Cynthia, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Peralta Matters.
Welcome to Vox Peralta. We're here at Laney College asking students what advice would they have to others looking to come into college.
The advice that I would give to somebody that's trying to get back into college is to definitely use the resources that are here at Laney.
Really stay on top of your work, study a lot, and show up to class. Showing up to class gives you points, so that kind of adds up at the end of the semester for you.
You can get a lot of your general education out of the way, and the first 2 years that you would spend as a freshman and a sophomore, you would save a lot of money compared to going to a four-year school.
And you could be a lot more successful in terms of, the indenture servitude, which is the loans that you take on your name, you'll have a lot less. So you won't have as much stress coming out of college, trying to pay the loans back and also pursuing a career.
So I think it's important for everyone just to be involved in their own kind of academic development, and even if they don't know exactly what they want to do, just to be taking classes and trying to kind of figure out what you do want to do in your life?
College is very challenging, but I advise it for anyone who wants to learn and is willing to learn. It brought me back so I can better myself as a person and hopefully carry it on and pass it to someone else.
Well, folks, there you have it. The popular voice right from the students, right at Laney on the Quad. I'm your host, Brianna Rogers, and you're watching Vox Peralta on Peralta TV. See you next time.
I teach legal and community interpreting at Laney College. Like your future, que te guste tu futuro at Laney College.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Ben Victorine, Laney College student at the Graphic Arts Department.
Yes.
Ben, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Let's talk first about where you are from originally.
Okay, I'm from Gabon, Gabon. It's in center of Africa.
Yes, sir. And then you did your undergraduate work where?
I did it in India, at Sharia Institute. So I was there for almost 3 to 4 years.
So Africa, India, Northern California.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Let's talk a little bit about Daniela's class. How'd you find out about it and what'd you get out of it?
For me, it was the most, I used to tell, like, she was so good, like, we felt like her the teacher was not good enough. Because when I came, I was not that much comfortable with the speed of English here. So she used to take her time and check if you are doing your assignment, even if you feel like, okay, no worry, I won't do. She will come and say, you did? And I was like, yeah, I did. So she motivated us, and it was a great experience for me.
Outstanding. You did work with numbers and finance before coming to graphics.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest reason for the change or for the switch?
My mom used to say madness, but I like to have the God's feeling, like create something, like even when you are not making any money, but you have that satisfaction inside than sitting all day in the bank and checking the numbers. It's my point of view.
Outstanding, outstanding. So you are a winner of the Inspire Oakland Design Contest. What did you submit and why?
It was amazing for me because I never knew about the Oakland culture. So the title, the topic was Inspire Oakland. I was like, it's so huge. Then I started to run around, visit Oakland. Try to know the story and having food everywhere, talk with people. And when I came back after 1 week, I was like, the meaning of Oakland for me is like diversity. So I have to make something with the Tribune building, and I have to make something about the diversity. This is my vision of Oakland. So I just got my inspiration through the street.
So what did you think? I mean, you're here 4 months, you get into a class, you win an award. Was that confirmation that you're doing the right thing or not?
I think I'm just a bit sad because maybe I can translate for my mom and I can ask her who was mad. I'm just kidding. But I was scared to do the competition because I was like, I just came and I have to learn. And Daniela said, there is no time to do something. Even just try. If you're not going to submit, just try something. And I just fell in love with the process. And we did it.
Real quickly, what is the biggest joy or the biggest thing you get out of graphic design?
It's like the internal satisfaction when a project is done. Because it's easy for people to criticize a work because they don't know the background of the project, how many hours you spend, like how long you spend on your laptop. I just like the feeling like when I'm seeing my creation, I just think like, oh, this one was a mistake. But actually people was like, oh, it's beautiful.
And they're going to see your mistake or beautiful all over the country, all over Oakland in a minute. Ben, thanks for coming on the show, man, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Right. We'll be back in a few minutes with more Peralta Matters.
I'm a Laney College student, and you're watching Peralta TV.
When I took my first class at Laney College, I had no idea I was going to be a photojournalist. After 14 years working with the Oakland Tribune, I can say I love my profession. It's about love, it's about passion, because we are the voice for the people who doesn't have one. Laney helped me reach the American dream. I am Ray Chavez. Laney works for me.
I am Peter Crabtree, Dean of Career and Technical Education. Like your future at Laney College.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Megan Delventhal. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks so much, Jay.
My pleasure. Let's talk first about your undergraduate background as a scientist. I think there's an actual longer physical term for what you used to do. Can you give it to us real quick?
I studied biochemistry and molecular biology.
I'm sorry, yeah, whatever, okay. Why the switch, or why now the switch to graphic design?
The arts have always been a part of my life. I'm also a musician, and that was another part of my undergrad studies.
Right.
But science was the practical major.
Right.
But out of college, what I did was social work and teaching, and graphic design was kind of always in the background, and I was doing little side projects, design-ish, and I finally decided to make it a full-time career.
Excellent. We talked a little bit off camera about how in theory or in some practices that you don't see the synergy between the two fields that you, but there actually is a lot more. Talk a little bit about that.
I think I wasn't expecting my science training to come into play so much with graphic design, but the procedural, the steps, the research, the background you have to gather for a design project, science really prepared me for that part of it, and for really executing things step by step and paying attention to detail. And that's been such a positive synergy, as you said.
Right on. So knowing what you knew about, side designing hustles and, every now and then getting a little bit of creative juices flowing, how do you think that going to a graphics class actually helped mold, shape, form the designer you're going to be?
One of the biggest things I've learned in my courses is that creativity doesn't always come, and that you have to keep pushing through it. It's so unlike science and math, where there's an equation, you solve it. You don't need to have inspiration. You can just do A, B, C and get the answer. And with design, you have to keep pushing through blocks and find different ways to get at the problem until the inspiration comes.
Right. Speaking of inspiration, winner of the Inspire Oakland Graphic Design Contest. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your design and what inspired you to do it.
Well, what was interesting is the nonprofit Oakland Digital that holds this competition has had every student submit 3 different ideas. And I had one for Art Murmur, one for empowerment and protest, and one for the Morecambe Rose Garden in Oakland. And that was the one they chose to have me pursue, was the Rose Garden. And what's so amazing about this place is it's full of life, and when you're there, you can't help but get lost within it. And it brings you closer, I think, to your own humanity and connectedness with life. And this garden was built after the Great Depression and before World War II, and having such an incredible sign of resilience, part of the Oakland landscape, is really what drove me to use this inspiration point.
Right on. What does this winning of the award say to Megan? How does it make Megan feel, or what trajectory does it set you off on?
Well, it makes me feel disbelief, first of all. I don't think it'll set in until I've seen
Till
it
you
in
actually
person.
see it, yeah,
Right. But it instills a confidence and more of a faith in my own abilities that people are interested in hearing my individual voice and that I have something valuable to say to the conversation. It solidifies that knowledge within myself.
Right on. Well, please keep sharing your creativity, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much,
You're
Jay.
welcome. You're welcome. We'll be right back with more Peralta Matters.
I was a single teenage parent on welfare. I came to the community college. I started at College Marin. It's like a second chance. I was not prepared to go to the four-year university. They would never have received me. And to be able to go to the community college and reinvent myself, recreate myself, that's what all of our students get the opportunity to do. We educate 76% of California students. It's pretty powerful. And we do it with the least amount of funding of any of the educational systems in California. To do that and to see these students graduate through their hardships with beauty, with dignity and grace, how could I not be passionate about it? I feel like I'm connected to the world by being here. And I see the creative power and the dynamic energy of everyone here, regardless of whether it's a student, a community member coming in, whether it's faculty, staff, administration. It's just a really powerful place because I see ingenuity always happening. I see differences and I see discussion within those differences. A lot of power, and the beauty that it represents really all of the world in many languages. Grateful to serve, grateful to work with outstanding human beings. I am the Dean of Academic and Student Affairs at Laney College. In addition to that, I'm the director. I'm blessed to be the director of the ELPS Care B2B program.
Thank you for watching Peralta News.
I'm a Laney College student and a park ranger. Like your future at Laney College.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I want to thank all of our guests for coming on today's show. And for more information, please visit us at peralta.edu. Until the next time, please do something that matters.
Peralta TV, programs that matter.